Welcome to the Poptimist. Today we have Josh Gilotty.
Hello. I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
It's an exciting day in the actually the warm February weather of the South that I'm very not used to.
Yeah, dude, it's different, right?
Yeah, you and I are both Northerners. I think we can
Yes.
kind of agree that this is a treat.
Yeah, it's strange not being in this like 3 feet of snow in the middle of February. But I honestly kind of miss the snow a lot.
I was excited to see some the other night. We had a coating, and I couldn't believe it. I walked outside, and we were down just the other night down at the Crying Wolf.
Yeah, the
When
Crying Wolf.
You were playing with Emma Holden Trio was playing, and the Semi Super Villains and Devin Moses. Yeah, which was an awesome. It's just good to see so many people I know all playing together, sharing the stage, which was fantastic. So,
Yeah.
But we walked outside at one point in between sets, and there was just snow coming down, and it was like, oh man, this is great because it felt like home.
Yeah.
It felt like home. Being a Pennsylvania guy, I like that.
Where'd you grow up in Pennsylvania?
The Pittsburgh area.
Okay. And
So-
you were friends with Isaac.
Yeah, so Isaac and I go way back. Isaac Short of Weird Sisters fame down here. We go back to we met when we were like 8 years old.
Really? I didn't
in the
realize
Cub
your
Scouts.
friendship was that old. In the Cub Scouts?
In the Cub Scouts.
Isaac
yeah.
was a Cub Scout?
Isaac Short was a Cub Scout.
What was he like as a Cub Scout?
He was a rambunctious Cub Scout.
I expected no other way.
Yeah, no, that's the only way to do it, and I think that's why we got along so well. We were like yin and yang, because I was very tame and he was like
All over the place?
Yeah, so we kind of that and our interests. We had a lot of interests. I guess our brains are kind of wired similar, and we complement each other in that aspect. So we just kind of hit it off, and then yeah, friends ever since. So.
When did you guys start playing music together?
Oh man, I was 12, so I guess we were both 12. We're the same age, so yeah. So when we were 12, so.
And what were you listening to? What were you guys getting into? Showing each other music and shit like that?
Yeah. I started taking lessons off the same guy he was at the time, and so we just kind of fed off of that. And a lot of similar. It was because at the time, the guy we took lessons off of, fantastic blues player, and we started off, the blues basics, doing 12-bar blues and cage system, things like that on guitar. I started with guitar and then transitioned to bass when I was in high school. And we just grew up playing like classic rock and blues and things like that, and then kind of transitioned as we got older. And now it's kind of like all over the place, at least for me. And I would say Isaac as well. They're a multi-genre band, the Weird Sisters.
Definitely.
Kind of blur the lines and blend things up. They take a lot of things and they put it in a blender and then just turn that thing up to high, and they just let that shit stir.
Their genre is actually blender.
Yeah. I would say their genre is blender. Yeah.
So you're a jazz bass guy?
Yeah, jazz bass. I picked up the first bass I played was a Washburn.
Was it like a knockoff P bass or J bass, or was it?
No, it was a unique. It was a B10. It was like a Washburn B10, active pickups and a rosewood fretboard. And the thing was like racing. It was like a race car blue. It was my dad's from the 80s. He got it in the 80s, and he gave it to me when I got into a band. Isaac pulled me into a band in high school and was like, "Hey, you have a bass at your house. Play bass in my band." And
That's how all bass players are born.
exactly. That's the classic bass player tale. That's the bass player fairy tale, basically.
So what was like the pickup configuration? Was it like jazz pickups, P bass pickups?
Oh man. I want to say it was like a P bass kind of setup.
Okay.
I think I'm trying to remember now. It's been a while since I sat down and played that bass. I don't even have it down here. Man, I can't remember. I want to say P bass, or maybe it's one of the ones where it's like a combo kind of thing, where it's got like the straight like kind of single looking like jazz pickup in the neck, and then like the P bass kind of config in the bridge.
Nice.
Something like that.
What kind of music were you guys playing?
In the band in high school?
Yeah.
We were like indie.
Was it original music?
Yeah, it was all original. It was like a very indie original kind of style. Like the I'm trying to think something I could equate it to. Cause some of the covers we did were things like Passion Pit. We were like taking Passion Pit
Isaac was in a
songs.
band that covered Passion Pit.
Yeah. We played Sleepyhead by Passion Pit.
That's a good song.
We rocked it. We did we were just mostly original, but we did do some covers here and there. But yeah, mostly all original stuff that just kind of like indie rock esque.
Nice.
Female vocalist. So yeah,
The classic.
yeah, it was an awesome setup. I love that. But yeah,
What was your name? What was your band name?
so we were called the Mad Hats, and we played. We played in California, Pennsylvania, which is 40 miles south of
Wait,
Pittsburgh.
there's a town called California, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I like to tell people I'm from California, and they're like, California? Yeah, California, Pennsylvania. And it's just like, what? that just sounds way less exciting. It's a small little college town. It used to be fun. It's not really that fun anymore. But yeah.
A lot of meth and a lot of pills now.
Oh, I'm sure it's a river town, Pennsylvania river town. So yeah.
So is there like steel mills and like factories and shit all
No,
through there?
no. Well, across the river there kind of was like it is really weird the way the town was kind of nestled. It sat like on the bend of a river, and I wouldn't even say like meth and stuff kind of took over. Yeah, there's like some stuff going on there, but it's not like a lot of the towns that kind of took over was like the big industry towns, the steel mill towns, which are down and away. California just kind of thrived off the college that they have. They have the California University of Pennsylvania, and that was like the calling card of the town, and that was it. So yeah, it was a neat little place, and it had a cool music scene for a while. I'm not really sure now. Haven't really messed around down there for a few years, even before I came down to Nashville. So, but.
That's funny, dude. California, Pennsylvania,
California.
USA.
Yep.
I've never been there, and I've been to a lot of places in Pennsylvania.
Never
It's
spent a night in Scranton.
Never spent a night in Scranton.
I can't say I have either.
Have you been to Scranton before?
No.
Where's Scranton at in Pennsylvania?
Dude, Scranton's in I'm pretty sure, and I'm probably wrong, but it's like not in the southern, but it's like central, I think.
It's like
It's like central, right?
it's like north. It's like
northern.
it's like north
Closer to Vermont.
northeast kind of. It's not quite all the way to the east corner. It's a little bit towards central PA, but it's up like tucked up in the north, up in like the middle of nowhere.
When I went to Vermont, we went through Scranton.
Yeah.
Vermont, Pennsylvania.
No, we went to the state Vermont. Like we passed through there. It was cool.
There might be a Vermont, Pennsylvania, man. They name towns after other states like crazy.
Vermont's kind of far away from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we went from West Virginia and went all the way north. We just went through
All the way like to the North Pole, like all the way north.
all
That's
the way north to Vermont.
that's all.
But it was
Vermont basically is the North Pole.
Oh
it
man.
was like it was a mandatory thing that we stopped through Scranton, though. That was like a detour we took.
You had to go to Scranton, like an office. Is that because of the office?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude, I've been watching The Office a lot lately.
I'm one of the few people that I think has never really watched all of The Office. I've seen maybe 3 episodes.
It's a great show, man. For a long time, I hated that show.
And that's where I'm at right now. Is I tried to watch it, and I'm like, I don't know if I have a taste for this.
Once it's an acquired taste. That's what she said.
I feel like a lot of people have acquired it though.
Yeah, no, I used to get stoned and they would play like reruns of it on TBS
And just run it over and over.
and run it over and over, and I would watch it. And I watched it when I was in high school because I think that's when it came out, when I was in high school. Back when you actually had to watch things as they aired, otherwise you wouldn't see them.
Yeah. Well, the reruns they were showing then were like of like Seinfeld and Cheers.
Exactly.
You know, the older ones.
But it's a great show. I've grown to really like it and enjoy it. What's funny about it is the characters and their interactions.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's kind of set up as a foil to each other in that show. That's what makes it so great.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As someone who's not really a big fan, I feel like that's like the really thing that like sells the show.
It's got a great theme song too.
Yeah. I know the theme song.
Yeah.
It's the only theme song that I don't skip on Netflix. You know, like you can skip the intro.
That-
It's the only thing.
Yeah, I never skip the intro either.
That's the one that you're just gonna leave on regardless.
Yeah, I just leave it on.
Nice.
Like every other show I've watched, I always skip it.
Have you been watching any other shows lately on Netflix?
No. Well, I watched The Witcher, and then I watched a little bit of You. That was one my girlfriend was interested in, and then we kind of started watching that together, and then I lost interest in it. It just got got too predictable, kind of. But Witcher was cool. It was fun. I like the medieval kind of deal.
That's Superman, right?
Yeah, yeah. Superman in the 1500s.
What did you think of the Man of Steel movie? Are you a fan of Henry Cavill as Superman?
I didn't mind it. I mean, it was, as an action flick goes, it was pretty good. I've never been a huge DC guy. Not like a huge comic guy, but I liked. I thought it was, big budget superhero movie. It was pretty cool. I mean, it was good. It was good. I'll just say that.
I liked it. Okay, I really like Zack Snyder a lot, the director.
Yeah.
He did that Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah. Well, when was that?
That was like 2004.
Okay.
I used to watch that movie all the time. They would play it on. We had like TMC or like some premium cable channel, and I always used to watch it because it had titties in it.
I like the titties, the zombies. That's why I like it. That's why I like this movie.
Yeah, but it is a pretty good movie though, and the original takes place in Pittsburgh.
PA. Yeah. They filmed the
Monroeville.
the cemetery scene. I think they filmed at a cemetery down the street from my grandparents' house.
Really?
Actually. Yeah. The original George Romero, right? And he was the.
Yeah, I think he directed the original Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I think that one was or maybe it wasn't Dawn of the Dead. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It was Night of the Living Dead, I think.
Yeah, because that one also takes place in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
right?
so it wasn't Dawn of the Dead. It was Night of the Living Dead. There's a cemetery scene that was, from what I'm told, filmed at a cemetery near my grandparents' house.
Do you like horror movies?
A little bit. It depends on the type of horror movie. I don't go for gore. Like if it's like Saw, things like that, where it's like intense gore, and like ones that are just jump scares continuously. I like it to be more of like kind of like a psychological horror, a little bit like that. And I like things that are just like really creepy and just give you like that creepy vibe. I like a good creepy vibe in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a good example.
Stephen King, dude.
Stephen King movies, yeah. It would just like The Shining, something like that, where it's like you have this like looming dread kind of feeling, like, all right, there's gonna be something like any second now, and you're just kind of on edge waiting for it, like
the whole time.
Yeah.
Like a thriller.
Yeah.
Have you seen Wrong Turn?
No, I have not seen Wrong Turn.
That's in West Virginia.
Yo, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's about inbred cannibals, right?
That's West Virginia's a perfect place for it. I don't.
Right.
No offense to West Virginia.
But it's filmed up north, closer to like Pennsylvania, actually, like up that way. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I've seen Wrong Turn before.
It's a good movie.
I know they did like a remake of it or a sequel or something like that, and I think Henry Rollins was in it as like a commando dude that went around killing these cannibals.
Okay, that's in the woods in West Virginia. Wow.
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna find in the woods of West Virginia.
You really don't.
Taylor, did you know any moonshiners in West Virginia?
Yeah. Some family members.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's a lot of people that do that. Most of them don't sell it. They just make it for their own. I don't really know anybody that sells it because I'm pretty sure that's illegal. But I know people that make it. I don't think making it is illegal. I think just
Selling it?
The distribution.
Like having a business.
Yeah.
Sell alcohol without I know people have been caught, and I found a steel when I was like hiking through the woods where somebody made it.
Was it like fresh or was it like abandoned? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say if you came up on like a fresh,
I'd get out
a
of it
fresh
probably.
moonshine still in the
Somebody
woods.
come around with a shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah. You might
Blow
never
you to
come back.
smithereens, dude.
Yeah. You'd
Get
never,
out of there.
never coming back from that. Oh.
So you're from Pittsburgh? That's awesome. I love Pittsburgh.
So what's your favorite thing about Pittsburgh?
I mean, I'm such a tourist, but I do like the Penguins.
The Pens, yeah. I'm not a huge sports guy, but if any of the hometown teams that I follow, it's the Pens. I like, I like hockey a little bit.
I like that arena they have, or the stadium they have for the Penguins. It's
PPG Paints now, I think it's called. Yeah.
Like, I went and seen a show there, and there's like no bad seats in there. And you can see it from really well from everywhere.
That's what I heard. There isn't like a bad seat in the house because they have like
Good.
a lot of big name artists come through. So
I think I went and seen Coldplay there
Really?
in
I hear Coldplay's a great live band.
Dude, they're a great live band. I know like people give them a lot of shit, but like, they were crazy good live.
I would love to see them live. Actually, I used
They're
to
a
be big
funny
into Coldplay.
band because they used to be like indie darlings, and then they just went full pop,
Yeah,
like the full pop. Which there's nothing wrong with that, but their last couple of albums I haven't really been into.
I haven't kept up since that one. Milo Gilotto, Milo Gilotto. Yeah,
I didn't
That
listen to
was-
that one. What were some of the songs on that one?
Paradise.
Yeah, Paradise was on there.
Is that the one with like that funky bass line? What's? Oh no, that's Para.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. I had that one on vinyl actually.
Really?
Yeah, because I got really big into Coldplay, but like I still like their indie phase.
Yeah.
Did you know that they were called Starfish?
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah,
They were Starfish first, before they were Coldplay. That's okay.
They bought the name Coldplay from a band at a bar.
That's awesome. That's a really good origin story. Like, yeah, we wanted to change our name, but we had to buy it off some guys at a bar. Like, what? What'd you?
I like that album X and Y.
X and Y is like a classic.
Yeah,
That's the one with Fix You on it. That's a great song, dude.
yeah.
That's a depressing album.
That is a very depressing
I was gonna
album.
say,
That's
yeah.
a breakup album.
It's a great song, but it's got that. Yeah,
I don't even remember the name of the album. Ghost Stories. That album's really like dark.
I feel like they have a lot of heartbreak music, kind of.
Come to think of it, yeah. A lot of their music is breakup music.
Yeah. Oh man, The Scientist. I heard some guy playing that on Broadway on a piano. Actually, he was playing all of Coldplay's like discography. I think he was just going through like album by album. He was just sitting there, just rolled up with the piano. On
Maybe
the
you just
sidewalk.
broke up.
He might have. Maybe he did. Maybe he was trying to get his girl back.
Maybe.
Maybe he was just. I'm gonna go on Broadway with a piano and play all of Coldplay's discography.
Like Coldplay. That's what I did back in middle school and high school.
Did it work?
Oh yeah, man. If you play The Scientist, they think it's so impressive, man, but it's the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it's just like four chords.
It's 4 chords and you just sit there and play the same thing, but it's still impressive.
Those are always the most impressive songs to people.
Yeah.
And
Because they can sing along to them.
yeah,
Fucking will.
Wagon Wheel. I think. Speaking to bring up Isaac Short again, he said that at any point, I remember he told me this the first time I came to Nashville. He's like, yeah, I go down to Broadway and pretty much every single bar has their windows open and there's a cover band each playing a different segment of the song Wagon Wheel all at the same time.
That's pretty accurate. That and Sweet
That's-
Home Alabama.
Yeah, I think there's so many. It really blew my mind the first time I went down to Broadway and just like was like, wow, this is really cool. Look at all these bands, and I'm like, wait, I think they're all playing the same thing.
Dude,
But-
you can get paid down on Broadway, though.
Yeah. I mean, they make really good money off of. I mean, just tips. That's like all they make is from tips, but it's a living. That's for
Yeah.
sure. That's for sure.
Would you play down there?
That man, that's interesting because I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say it would be my ideal thing because I would do it, but it wouldn't. It might not be the ideal situation for me. Just
Yeah.
stylistically, what I like and what I'd like to do, kind of, preferably with music.
I'm a whore. I would definitely do it.
Just
I'm trying to never work ever again.
That's the dream. That's
Dude, I didn't have a job for like a year. I did Uber and Lyft, but I don't really count that as a job.
right. I mean, it's still a reliable source of income, especially like.
I don't know if I call it a
now.
reliable source of income, but it was
Well,
a source of income.
It's a popular service. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I guess it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, when I did that, it was honestly really nice not to have to go somewhere and have someone tell me like where to be.
Right.
And that was the beginning of me really deciding that I wasn't gonna try and get like jobs anymore and advance my career at an office or some shit like that, because I was just always so miserable because it never worked for me.
Right.
Like, it never worked for me. Some days I get up and, like, I want to just go for a drive, or I want to wake up and practice right away.
Yeah. And it just wasn't fitting your personality.
No.
Yeah.
No. And I don't know if it really fits anybody's personality, because everybody that I knew who worked some kind of job, it's very rare that someone actually loves their job.
It is. It is. And it's weird. It's a weird thing because, to me anyway, everyone's different. and has a different nature, which is, the cool thing about the human condition and being a person, I guess. But I feel like at the core, like, I don't know. I feel like at the core, like an office job, being stuck at a desk behind a screen doesn't fit the human genetic makeup, I guess, because like we're like nomadic explorers. I don't know. Like maybe that's just thinking like way too far back.
No, I agree.
I'm getting deep. I'm getting deep on the Poptimus, man. Oh, jeez.
So I worked with Isaac for a little while at a company that will not be named. I think you know the one. And I definitely got fired from that job because I just wanted to watch Joe Rogan. I was like, I'm going to work and just like listen to Joe Rogan and watch that. And they didn't like that, dude. And it's like, if I go into a place, I roll a certain way and I can just kind of do my own thing. I follow the bare minimum of rules. And then from there, it's just like, okay, I'm here and you get whatever is here right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing, dude. Like, with jobs, they just take and take and take and take and take. And it's like, no, fuck you. This is a two-way street.
Sometimes
I'm giving
you gotta
my
turn it
time.
around. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you got to turn it around because, I mean, there are so many times where you can get stuck at a place and people start to leave and then they just pile everybody else's work on you. Like, I've seen that happen to a ton of people at places I've been where they're just drowning in other people's work because so-and-so can do two people's job. We'll just leave them to do that for the rest of forever.
Yeah.
Until they crack, and then, yeah.
And then we'll get someone else.
Yeah.
To do three people's job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happens all too much. But I feel like at the core, I mean, there's like, I don't know. It's weird. That's one of the weird things about life that I'm trying to figure out right now is like, what would fit me? What's a steady way of working that I can like have that fits me, that gives me time to work on my creative outlets, that give me like sanctuary in life. Like that's where what I grasp a hold of is
100%, dude.
And just trying to find a way to make working and creating work together and have the yin and yang, the harmony of that is really hard to do.
Dude, it took me like 2 years to kind of build into what I have now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I work at a radio station. I drive for Uber and Lyft. I do random odd jobs, whether it's like painting or help, like working with Taylor, doing stuff downtown or whatever. And I just I have the bad tendency to never say no to an opportunity when it pops up. Yeah. So it puts me in situations where I'm just over fucking loaded with work.
Oh, definitely. That can really that's a two-way street in itself. That being a yes man kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like I just see an opportunity and I always want to take it, but some opportunities I've come to learn I don't need to take. It was like last week I was just running so fucking ragged because I was working 5 a.m. till noon at the radio station, and then
that's an early shift.
Yeah, and then and I have to be up by like 3:40 to get there on time at 4:30 because I really have to be there at 4:30 to prep.
Right.
And I had one night I had to work until 7, which is there's no way to get 8 hours of sleep if you work until 7 because 7 till 3 is 8 hours.
There's your right.
And that's not counting like a half hour getting home or any of that shit. So I was sleep deprived one night. The next day I have to get up again. I got like maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Woke up, went to work, and then got out of there. And I had a gig that night. So I came home and slept for an hour or two. Woke up, practiced some, and then I had that gig with Emma, dude. I barely had any sleep. And then we didn't get out of there until around midnight. Once I got out of there, I had to come home and jump in bed really quick because I had to be up at 3:40 again.
Jeez, man, that's...
So I just said yes to all this shit in 1 week, which I'm happy to do it, and I feel very grateful to have all this stuff now.
Right.
But now I'm at a point to where it's like I'm pulling back on stuff and figuring out really where to put my time.
Yeah.
But it's a hard balance because most of this stuff musically I do is free, and like the podcast is free. You know, no one's paying me to do shit like that right now.
Right.
Which is the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Build it up into expand.
Exactly. But in these years, whatever this time period is of earning your stripes, it's like figuring out how to run a business, like run my life, which is like the Poptimist Inc. all the different things I'm doing. They're
Right.
all different wings of the company, whether it's my job at the radio station or the podcast or playing bass.
Yeah.
And it's figuring out how to balance all those things. Because the thing that, for me, it's like I figured out a few unbreakable things. Like, what is unbreakable for me? And that's I want to practice every single day, and I want to be playing music every single day.
Right.
And I want to be doing this, the podcast. And it's tough, dude, because there's so much shit you got to worry about. Rent, you got to worry about bills, you got to worry about this, you got to worry about that. And it's just like, I don't know, it's just so stressful.
There's some
figuring out a balance.
Some days you
What's
wake
right.
up and it's just like, wow, sometimes things like that seem so insurmountable, and it's something that I learned that kind of helps me out with that is just picking it apart. But even then it can be tough because it's just like, wow.
Yeah,
what's
dude.
I got to do this thing this way and that. I totally understand what you're saying with that, because especially running your life like a business, that's a skill that, like, I think is really important to think about, is because everything kind of feeds in together, and it's like, hey, what's going to be like the best move for me just personally, like benefit you as a person, and sometimes saying yes to everything can, like you said, lead you to like an overloaded state. But it's hard because there's so many opportunities that can come along where you think, oh, this will be like the best bet for me, but then I don't know, like maybe sometimes it doesn't always turn out that way. I don't know. It's a guessing game sometimes.
You don't know you've stepped on a landmine until you've stepped on one.
Right. Right.
And your leg is blown apart, and you're just figuring out what the fuck. Like, what the fuck do I do? I had one of those weeks last week, and now I have a really better picture of what I need to do. And actually, the unbreakable, the number one on the list, is getting 8 hours of sleep.
That's a really good goal. I don't sleep enough.
That's the most important thing to me, is sleeping.
I don't get enough sleep. I've not been placing enough value on sleep the past couple of months, and it's really starting to show.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just starting to go a little crazy, or?
I think I went crazy a while ago. I'm not too sure, but yeah. I definitely need more than like what I've been getting, which is like roughly 4 to 5 hours probably a night.
Yeah, that's rough, dude.
Yeah, maybe 6. 6 is, well, probably 5 or 6, which is okay. But I'd like to 8 hours sounds a lot better.
Yeah, it makes me just function way more. I'm way more efficient at everything that I'm doing. And it's like I've started looking at my schedule and thinking, how can I parse this out to where it's manageable? And the number one thing on that list is sleeping. Like, in order to be able to do anything else, I want to, no matter what time I go to bed, it's like, okay, I have to get 8 hours. I just try and wake up naturally. Because I came home Friday night. I got out of work at noon again. And then I went painting with Taylor. So we were doing that. Done with that at like 4 or 5, had to go run some errands, got home around 7, and I slept until 9 the next morning.
Nice.
So I made up that sleep, dude.
Yeah.
My body fucking needed it, bro.
Yeah, it was telling you. It sent you a message.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, you need to just chill out for a little bit, just calm down.
And yesterday and today, I just kind of took the day to do my own thing, and just like, I didn't do shit yesterday. I went over and I practiced with Emma and James last night. So that was one thing that I did, but that was after, like, I was like, I'm not doing anything today.
Yeah.
And then
You need those.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are important, man. I have such a hard time not doing anything because I always feel like I need to practice. I need to do this. I didn't practice at all. And it's been shitty, dude, this week because I was so crammed full. Like, I barely got to practice other than prepping for my gig with Emma. I barely got to practice on my own, and practice is something that I'm taking very seriously now.
Yeah, that's what we talked about previously. How you've kind of really tightened up your practice schedule and found out what fits, kind of working on that, which is awesome. And I think something that everybody needs to kind of do at one point.
It's difficult to do, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it took me until I was 28 to figure out how to practice efficiently. And it really just breaks down to going slow.
Yeah. And how long have you been playing?
I've been playing now. Well, I started playing bass when I was 14, and bass was my first instrument. I was a bass player right from the jump.
Okay. So it wasn't the classic guitar player.
No,
bass player
I was a rarity in this story.
Man.
The exception. So yeah, I've been playing for 14 years now. And it took me that long to figure out how to practice in a good way.
Yeah.
And what I do is I break down. So I'll either do 1 hour or 2 hour practices. And I'll do like 10 minutes on one thing. So I might sight read for 10 minutes, just straight up like sight read exercises. Break for 5 minutes, do another 10-minute break or another 10 minutes of practicing. And then that I might do work on jazz theory or harmony or something like that. 5-minute break, and then 20 minutes try and work on a song, whether it's a song that I'm playing with Emma, a song that I might be producing that I'm trying to learn for a gig, or just something fun.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think that's important too.
Fun is very important.
It's important to keep it fun and to keep it loose. So sometimes I'll just play whatever I'm listening to or something that I'm liking.
Yeah.
And then if I do a 2 hour practice, it'll be 20, 10, 20, 10, 40 minutes working on a song. So, and I write everything down in a journal, and I make notes of what I worked on that day. And now I'm trying to figure out, like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe work on this. Tuesday, Thursday, work on this. Saturday, Sunday, work on this.
Damn, you are a structured fellow with that. I love it.
I got to this point, dude. It was not always that way.
Yeah, it was an acquired thing.
Yes, absolutely, dude. And it was from honestly just shitting myself on stage too many times, dude. Like, I would go out to the blues jams, whether it was Carol Littman's blues jam or Pop Attorneys or whatever. And they were always very encouraging to me when I would fuck up.
Yeah.
They were always very encouraging. They never gave me shit about it or anything like that. Because, like, when you fuck up, you know what you got to work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that has always been slow blues, dude. I fuck up a slow blues like nobody's business.
Oh, one of the first jams I had with anybody when I came here, we were doing blues, and it was just like, I forgot how to count or something, man. I don't know. It was just like really embarrassing because I hadn't played blues in so long, like years. I've just been playing like funk and just doing like weird, just free jams with people that weren't structured and no structure.
Those are the best, though.
They're really fun. You can get lost in those like real quick. You can go from like, all right, we'll jam for a few minutes to, hey, we've been playing for like an hour now. Maybe we should wrap this up and take a break. But it's, yeah, I was just like, wow, okay, let me make sure I'm doing the changes in time and things. So it was actually to think about it, which was really weird. It was really embarrassing, and I was just like, whoops, okay.
Those moments are valuable, dude. I mean, those are honestly,
Yeah.
I think, the most valuable moments as a player, especially when you're playing with monster players on stage or just jamming with someone. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck, I can't. This is embarrassing.
Yeah, you had that like moment of shame where you're just like, you know, like you said, like you
I'm
shit
not
your
a
pants
musician.
and you're just sitting there with like a red face and you're like, oh man, I don't. Yeah, you feel like you're not a musician. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first thought that comes to your head. You're like, man, I'm not a musician. I shouldn't do this.
There's this great.
Sometimes I shouldn't say it's the first thought that comes to everybody's head, but yeah.
It's something I think that crosses a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
There's this great book that I read called Effortless Mastery. I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote it, but it's basically like a self-help book for musicians. And so much of it talks about the way that we talk to ourselves as musicians. Saying like, this is not good enough. This is not this. This is not that. I don't like the way I'm doing this. And what the book says is that's all ego driven.
Right.
Which it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we got to give ourselves the space to fuck up and to be bad or to sound bad in those moments. Like, one of the things he says in the book is, don't try to sit down to write a good song. Try to sit down to write a bad song.
Oh, that's a really interesting way of looking at it.
Because sometimes you got to write 2 or 3 of those, and then you get to somewhere where this, like, an idea or a concept is more fleshed out. Or some kind of aesthetic or something like that. Because it's like, I haven't been into songwriting in a really long time. Like, pretty much since I've been to Nashville, I've maybe written 5 or 6 songs, which is crazy because this is like the songwriter's town.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like singer-songwriter central.
But that's something that I think this year I want to focus more on. I would like to get back into that. But when I had a big writing phase when I was probably like 22 or 23. I was living in Maine, smoking a lot of weed, partying all the time, getting laid, living the life. And I listen back to those songs and I hear that now, but it's like I'm a different person now. So
Right.
It's like figuring out where you're gonna go next artistically.
The songs you wrote then don't feel like the person you are now.
Exactly.
It's
like a snapshot in that time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how much a situation can influence. I mean, that's kind of where I think a lot of influence comes from musically is situations that you're in, and kind of like what life throws at you is what inspires, what comes out of you musically sometimes. A lot of time.
What's your songwriting process like?
Wow, that's something I've been developing more the past year or two, because for there was probably like a 3 or 4 year stretch where I just wasn't doing any songwriting, and I wasn't much of a songwriter before that at all. So like I started getting into songwriting and then like immediately like jumped out of it for a while and then kind of came back into it. My process is kind of, because I do a lot of acoustic is where a lot of stuff starts off on, or me like just noodling around with something. And then once I always seem to have a musical idea before I have a lyrical idea. If I can even get a lyrical idea to form at all. I feel like lyrics are usually kind of forced for me. But a lot of the acoustic stuff kind of ends up being emotionally driven, whereas a lot of the stuff that's more fleshed out instrumentally, like maybe has more like an electric guitar, like a full band kind of sound, or I started messing with some stuff that kind of branches into like the electronic kind of realm, with like synth stuff. That's more of, there's an emotional drive to a point, but a lot of the times it's just like, oh hey, I like the way this sounds, and it's kind of me being less emotionally driven and more just like artistic, creative, like blank canvas, like
following
fresh
the
mind.
sounds.
Yeah, just going on that journey, like chasing a sound. Like you get a sound in your head and it's like a little bug like in your ear, and you're like, yes, this is what I'm gonna chase, and you, like you said, you follow the sound. You kind of just go where it takes you a little bit.
It's kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Because it's like you hear one sound, then you hear another one, and then you hear another one.
And you think, what can I layer on top of that?
Exactly.
Or you try that and you got to take something out maybe. It's like a little too much. Yeah.
When I played my first solo gig, that was one that you opened.
Yeah.
You opened that night.
That was a fun gig.
And I was actually playing with Dustin Sellers that night.
Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. Yeah, thank you again for getting me into the five. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, of course, man. You played a song. I think you said you just wrote it recently that night, and it was a love song.
Yes,
that's a great song. What is that song called? Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. What was the name of that? I wish I had my notebook in front of me.
Well, anyways, it was a great song.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I wish I could remember the name. That was I just finished that one like the night before.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was actually kind of weird because I was experimenting with like more jazz chords and things, and that's kind of where that one came out of. And yeah, I like I said, the acoustic ones end up being kind of emotionally driven love songs, kind of things like that, which I don't view myself as like a love song kind of writer, but somehow I end up writing
maybe
love
you
songs.
are,
maybe
dude.
I am, and I just maybe I'm a little kind of Ed Sheeran-esque. I don't know. That's weird. It's weird because I don't view myself in that aspect, but I feel like I have a lot of songs that come out that way.
How do you view yourself?
That's a really great question. How do I view myself? I'm just, I don't know. I have a very, very strange view of myself. I feel, especially right now at this point in my life, my view of myself is kind of, I don't know. It's hard to have a view of myself because I feel like I'm in
environment.
I'm in such a transitional period of life, and it's like, okay, sometimes I have to like adjust like the view of myself. Like how I see myself as a musician is I'm just kind of very free flow, kind of whatever I'm feeling in the moment, because like what I like to listen to varies so much stylistically and crosses the lines of genre so much. And I've been started getting a lot into like 90s hip hop, and I was like, that was really influencing me a lot.
Well, like Biggie Smalls, Tupac,
Wu-Tang Clan,
Nice.
Jurassic 5, Public Enemy. Yeah, a lot of that. Biggie, yeah, definitely Biggie Smalls. But yeah, a lot of like Wu-Tang, Public Enemy, MF Doom. I really like MF Doom a lot. Yeah, I found another really cool group recently called King Ghidorah, based off of King Ghidorah, the Godzilla monster.
Really?
Yeah, and they have clips from like the old black and white, or the old, not black and white, but the old like Godzilla monster movies, and they have
Yeah.
like the sound bites in there, like in their songs, and I love when
Nice.
people mix in like cool like old sound bites in with like
Yeah.
a good beat. I'm just like, that's neat. It entertains me. I don't know what it is about it, but it's something I find really interesting.
Yeah, dude. It's interesting when you first move to Nashville because it's like you're here in this musical environment surrounded by people who are trying to do the exact same thing of you
It's scary.
as you.
Yeah.
It's very scary. And it led me to feel like feeling very unsure of myself, and I was intimidated by a lot of the players that I was playing with.
Yeah.
But it was honestly the best thing for me. And it just took we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, but like the first 6 months in Nashville are your hardest.
That's everybody says. Everybody says.
It is hard as fuck the first 6 months that you're here. Because not a lot of people know you yet. You might have some friends here or whatever. But not a lot of people know you. Nobody wants to play with someone that they don't know or that they're not friends with.
Right.
Or that they don't want to hang out with.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Oh, yeah.
But it's hard to adjust because it's like you get here and there's every vice that you can imagine. There's drugs, there's sex, there's booze, there's partying, there's all this shit. Just like free here. People just give you shit. You're just going places, getting stoned all the time, getting drunk.
It's distractions galore.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the distractions are not the reason why you moved here.
No.
They're distractions from the reason why you moved here.
Exactly. You had like a focus, and that's kind of how I feel. Is like I have a reason why I wanted to come here, and then I came here, and it was like, why'd I come here again? Kind of. You like look around, and it's like, man, and those months are a struggle, but they pass you by. And problem I had was like, I feel like, oh man, like I got here and was hard on myself because I felt like I should be playing more. I should be playing with all these people. I should be making these connections and doing these things. And it's like, you just need to slow down and like get settled and get your head on straight first.
You're right. And that's a natural feeling.
And I didn't do that. I look back and I'm just like, man, I wish I would have just like calmed down and like looked at things through like a more relaxed lens, like musically when I first like I mean, I've only been here for, like 6 months basically. I'm coming out of that phase like the first 6 months, but yeah, it's looking back, I hit the ground running and I kind of tripped and did a little somersault, but
hey man, I think
back up.
those are super valuable moments.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
I learned so much. Like I drank more my first 6 months in Nashville than I probably did my whole life.
It's a drinking town.
It's a drinking
There's
town.
bars
dude.
everywhere. It's
People
crazy.
just give you free alcohol when you go places.
Yeah.
It's easy to get free drinks at shows.
Mm-hmm.
Get on the guest list for a show. Get drink tickets. Whatever it is. And it's just so tempting to go down that path. And like I spiraled out and I kept it going for a couple of years. It wasn't because of booze. Because I don't like being hungover, dude. I can never be an alcoholic.
No, it's not a good feeling.
No. I definitely prefer to get stoned. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I look back on really my first 2 years in Nashville was just me getting adjusted to being here. Like getting adjusted to being in a place where everybody was doing the same thing as me. The culture was very different than what I was used to. It was very different from up north.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Maine, but I can imagine. Are you from a big town or anything?
Not really. Maine, there's only 1 million people in the state, so it's super
Seriously?
rural. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I moved here, I mean, I spent my childhood down in Florida, like the Miami area. But when I moved to Nashville, it was the first time I felt like I was in like a big metro city.
Yeah.
With skyscrapers and shit. I never lived in a place with skyscrapers. I lived like in Boulder and I lived in a couple other places, but they weren't really like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like down here where this is like,
it's a city.
it's a dense area. I
Yeah.
had no idea. how like high the population was down here. There are more people in the Nashville metro than there are in the entire state of Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
just checked the other day, and there's over 1.9 million people just in the metro. That's
Yeah.
not even. I'm in Hendersonville. That's not even counting like towns like that. Brentwood, I think, is excluded. Like, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it really made sense when I looked at it. And that's another one of the things that have kind of, threw me off, kind of like how you were saying just now. So
Yeah. It took some time to get adjusted to.
yeah, it's like a shock. It's a whole culture shock for me because I'm used to the northern culture is a little bit different. Down here, there's like, I don't know, like the southern vibe is to me is a lot. It's kind of foreign, so I'm getting used to that.
Definitely.
What I think is awesome is it's a lot more. More of a melding pot kind
Yeah.
of. I mean,
there's a lot of different cultures here.
yeah, Pittsburgh had diverse culture to it. I mean, most metros do, but this area for sure. I mean, because it's so much bigger than any city I've ever been to.
Ready to do the news, Millhouse?
Oh yeah,
Pulled 'em up. So our first article today is billionaires could leave Earth behind for space colony as climate collapses. And it starts off, it goes, coronavirus, climate change, overpopulation, rising sea levels, and the ever-present threat of nuclear war. Lots of people would leave the planet if they possibly could, and maybe a few people can.
Dude, they're cunts, bro. Because they're the number one people who are responsible for all this shit, dude.
I think it's funny. I don't know.
kind of like see ya.
It's
Have fun cleaning it up.
I
Bye.
don't know. We've survived 2 world wars where like 3% of the population was killed.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yeah.
There's a draft of like all people in the United, like a lot of people in the United States, and like I don't know.
Those were pretty close together too.
They were
So
like there's a lot of shit, like the Black Plague. You know,
yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of shit the world's been through. I think that I don't know.
I think we'll survive coronavirus.
I think we'll survive it too.
I think we already did. I haven't heard much more about it.
So a number of multi-billionaires, notably Elon Musk, of course, Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, and Yuri Milner, have poured huge chunks of their fortunes into space travel. And like, I don't know. I think it's crazy. You know?
It is crazy, dude. Like, so many of these people are telling us that we need to take care of the environment, yet they're taking private jets, which is like one of the number one fucking polluters of our environment.
Yeah,
It's private jets. It's like you and 6 other people on a private plane.
let's take the stuff that we don't want in the atmosphere and put it higher up into the atmosphere.
And I really hate that. Not to mention the fact that, like, I wonder how much of Amazon, like, actually pollutes or destroys the environment and things that they do. Because you got to
Right.
think about it. All the trucks that they have, and they're like efficient fuel, whatever. And meanwhile, people are telling us that we need to drink from
Hydroplastics.
fucking cardboard straws or some shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, cardboard straws aren't going to do shit when we're all still driving cars. And I'm not
Yeah.
willing to stop driving my car. Nobody is. And I feel like if you're talking shit about climate change or the environment or some shit, then if you really want to lead the charge, then stop driving your car and take a bike everywhere.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy, kind of. I think. I think we definitely need to take care of the planet that we have.
Absolutely.
It's the only one we have.
It's the only one
I
we
mean,
have.
they want to colonize Mars, and hey, I think space travel is cool, but I think there's a lot of things that need to be focused on down here.
we need to fucking work on fixing Earth and like getting in balance with this planet, because otherwise it'll just wipe us off the face of the planet and
Yeah.
not give a fuck. It'll be like we were never here.
Yeah, nature's more powerful than anything we could do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we could find a way to, blow the planet to pieces. I'm sure we could create explosions big enough to do something like that. But I'm seeing just like as a whole, nature, how maybe not blow the planet to pieces. It's a pretty big rock in space, but nature as a whole is more powerful than man, I think.
Oh yeah. I feel like the second if we start dropping nukes again, there's going to be a bunch of natural disasters just from Mother Nature being like, "Fuck you, you're not supposed to do that."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next story.
Next story. All right. Why Harley Quinn became a Bernie Sanders supporter in Birds of Prey. Have you seen the Birds of Prey movie?
I've not seen Birds of Prey. I heard mixed reviews. I heard it was one of the better DC movies that have come out. I heard it was better than Suicide Squad, but I did not see any glowing reviews.
Here's what I can't stand. I keep getting advertisements made by them saying that the movie is great and like it's Deadpool, and I'm like, I actually
It
like,
bombed at the box office.
and I
Did
can't
it?
find any actual reviews on it, dude. I've been like looking and stuff, but I just keep seeing their written reviews as advertisements.
That's suspicious.
But Birds of Prey is one of those. Here's what the article says: Birds of Prey is one of those movies that's just so full of stuff. Every frame is packed with weird details, and every scene is so filled with gags that it's not easy to remember all of them. And apparently, she is a Bernie Sanders. Harley Quinn is a Bernie Sanders.
Did she say that in the movie?
No. Here's what it says. So, like Bernie exists in this movie, and he was running for president in the movie. Is Donald Trump the president? Is the political establishment the same in that universe as it is here?
So I'm confused. Is Bernie Sanders? Do they talk about him in the movie?
Yeah, apparently, like
So he's there.
running for president.
Oh, okay.
In the movie, and like Trump was never president.
I'm so fucking sick of Hollywood pushing their political views down people's throats.
Yeah.
Such a movie, man.
It alienates the fuck out of people, and there's reasons why these movies are bombing and that nobody goes to see them.
Yeah.
No one actually gives a fuck. It's like every award show is all about, again, them saying we need to take care of the environment and all this shit, and they like take a private jet to get there.
Yeah.
She does mention the fact that she voted for Bernie in the movie.
I fucking hate that, dude.
And
I feel like art is not the place for politics,
No,
and that's an
it's-
unpopular opinion. There's a lot of people who
Yeah.
who get mad when I say that, but
There's also a lot of people that agree with that, and I feel like the mass majority of people agree with that. They just won't say it.
rarely I feel is super political art good. There is stuff that is good, like Rage Against the Machine is good.
Yeah,
That's very
Public
political.
Enemy, Rage Against the Machine. There are certain political stances you can take that I feel like are very safe to mix with music and art. There's also like some nitpicky things that I'm just like, well, this is gonna cause you to, like kind of split some stuff. Like it's like splitting hairs, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Very forced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And
then
that's the thing I don't like about it. It's
If
disingenuous.
it's natural, like I'm almost okay with it. But if it feels like they're just pushing their agenda at me,
Yeah. Yeah. If it
Fuck Hollywood. I
feels
don't
like
like
it doesn't
that
have a
shit. Too.
place in there.
Fuck Birds of Prey
And then
too.
it dates the movie instantly too, because everyone's like, "Oh, well, I know when this,
Yeah.
it dates
Yeah.
everything. That is right.
yeah."
Yeah, because we'll watch that movie in like 2070 and be like, yep, that was.
Oh yes, 2019. Yes. I
Yes.
remember.
All right, now for the best one. Please don't poop in a sacred temple at Machu Picchu. 6 tourists were arrested after the authorities found feces inside the UNESCO World Heritage Site temples of the sun. That's pretty wild. That's a very Florida man thing, though. Machu Picchu.
Yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
if they're American because this sounds American.
Yeah, that sounds like a very American thing. We're gonna defecate in the temple of Machu Picchu.
Yeah, a sacred
Yeah.
The
place.
article's
Yeah.
pretty funny. It says, here's a scenario for you. You've made the long, difficult journey to Machu Picchu, taking a variety of planes and trains and buses to get there. And now, finally, you're inside the grounds. You begin to explore more than 500-year-old site, marveling at its ancient towering rock spires. Its surreal terraces and ramps. Life is sweet. The world is bountiful and mysterious. Your day couldn't get any better. But at some point, you're hit with a terrible, inescapable feeling. You have to poop.
So where were these tourists from? Does it say?
Yeah, I want some details.
Yeah. France, 24 reports 6 people in their 20s and early 30s were arrested Sunday after Peruvian authorities caught them in a restricted area in Machu Picchu's temple. They have a restricted area? They revered...
That's where Jeffrey Epstein did his sacrifices.
In the restricted area of the Machu Picchu
It
temple.
doesn't say where they're from. That kind of blows. I bet they're from Florida.
I'm willing to definitely bet they're from
Yeah,
America.
definitely. I don't think it doesn't say.
I mean, you couldn't shit in a bag or something like that, or out by a tree, or was it just one of them shitting? I mean,
Yeah.
6 of them got arrested.
All 6 of them probably
Was-
took a dump, man.
I feel like this was coordinated. I feel like this was a coordinated strike.
Let's go shit in this temple right here.
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Let's go
It is
dump in a temple.
It's a conspiracy.
Ready to conspire.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty wild. Why would they do that? I wouldn't just go outside.
They had to shit, dude.
All of them at the same
I
time.
mean, well, think about
Was it synchronized?
It
Were they
was-
all shitting at the same time?
Maybe they didn't bring any bags. The temple's high up.
That's poor planning on their part. They should
Yeah.
be arrested. Just for that alone.
If they didn't know they were gonna have to shit.
You should always plan to. It's eventually you're gonna have to.
You're going to have to, dude.
If you're gonna plan
If
to
you're
be,
going to be going up to fucking hike Machu Picchu,
Yeah.
you got to know that there's not going to be any
They did
indoor
it on
plumbing
purpose.
there.
I just want to know how the cops found them doing it. Did they catch them in the act?
it's probably a camera there or something.
I
It's
wonder if they just found the shit and they're like, this is human shit.
I mean, probably. I would be very disappointed if I was a separate hiker and I hiked up that mountain just to find a bunch of shit for it.
That would be pretty horrible.
That'd be pretty awful.
So where can people find you at? What is your Facebook, Instagram, all your social media?
So you can find me just search my name, Josh Gilotty. On Instagram is where I do a lot of music stuff. I post it's SoundCloud. I have things up on SoundCloud as well. Facebook, I haven't been as active on there. That's on my part.
Facebook is for boomers, dude.
It's become the boomer social media site. It really has. It's aged. So yeah, I have some stuff up on SoundCloud right now, but there's going to be some singles coming to Spotify hopefully soon, and I don't have any dates to promise, but I'd like to be putting some stuff down. Pretty soon. I want to get an acoustic EP put together.
Nice.
And just get some things out there for the world to see on popular streaming services. But yeah, right now SoundCloud, Instagram are going to be the two best places. Just search Josh Gilotty, you'll find me.
And how do you spell your last name?
Gilotty.
Cool. Dude, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me, man.
Of course.
Appreciate it.